Yo guys, what is up? It's your boy, Mr. James Klein. James, MJK Foot, nice to see you. We're on the new YouTube channel. We switched names, we rebranded everything, so we're on the MJK Foot YouTube channel. If you came over here from my old YouTube channel, from my Twitch, I really appreciate it. But yeah, man, we're gonna get into FIFA 21 with a FIFA 21 video, our first one. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a leap of faith getting on YouTube. Twitch is doing really well, so I figured, you know what, man, I get so many people telling me YouTube's kind of a move, especially just to help, get your content out to another platform. So I figured we might as well try it out. So today's video, we're going to be just basically discussing our FIFA 21 plans. And for me, what this really means is kind of going a little bit harder than I did last year. Last year, we all know FIFA 20 sucked, plain and simple, right? Content was all right. Gameplay was shocking. But other than that, man, it was a really hard game to kind of stay interested on and kind of stay locked in, per se. And for me, a lot of you guys may know that I do play college baseball. So realistically, from the months of February, really January to May, are really difficult for me to kind of, stay active in terms of me trading and streaming and doing all that kind of stuff. But this year, man, I mean, I did it in the past. But this year, man, I had no interest in it. It was difficult. It was difficult because gameplay was so bad. We didn't have icon SBCs. We basically just had nothing. We basically just had a pile of shit that we called FIFA 20 and we played, and it is what it is. But this year, EA seemed to be a little bit more transparent. They seemed to be giving us a little bit more of something to look forward to and something to be excited about. So yeah. So I think I figured, with Twitch doing well, Twitter growing, that why not give FIFA 21 YouTube a try. But like I said, man, this is my first video, so I apologize if it's choppy, I apologize if it's awkward, I apologize if there's no editing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm learning as we go. For instance, I recorded 11 minutes of this video and I didn't switch any scenes in OBS. So we're getting used to it, but I appreciate, the interactions, the likes, the comments, the subs, the follows on Twitch, everything like that. It's so greatly appreciated, man. And yeah, man, I'm just excited for what this year has in store. I really am. So to start off, man, I want to look at Footbin, right? And I just want to show you guys my week 1 squad, okay? So this is the squad that I'm hoping to, something like this, I'm hoping to have for the first week in League of FIFA 21. And the reason I pick a squad like this is because I was talking to guys like the Foot Accountant, shout out the Foot Accountant, and Chatty Wagger, and I was just thinking, like, I'm going to be able to afford those Mbappe's, Neymar's, Ronaldo's, all that kind of stuff, hopefully, right? We all hope. But realistically, man, for me and my Twitch and YouTube, it doesn't make sense for me to have, 1 million, 2 million coins in a team and a couple 100K just laying around. For me, I'd rather spend this 5, 6, 700K on a team and then have, that same amount of money just spread around that I can trade with and show you guys what I'm doing. So anyway, I decided to go with a team that isn't really necessarily screams meta. I mean, it does, right? But there's players in there that people might be like, if you're a competitive player, you're not going to have, right? So for me, right, my marquee player is going to be Kevin De Bruyne. On the beta, guys like De Bruyne, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, even Ibrahimovic, guys that really people weren't using, I guess you could say, on FIFA 20, like Weekend League and stuff. They worked really well in the beta. Anyway, Ronaldo was back to the Ronaldo we all know and love, like the Team of the Year caliber Ronaldo's. He was terrible this year, man. I played 300 games with Team of the Season Ronaldo, and he sucked. But anyway, I think these type of players are going to be very decent this year. Guys that aren't blazingly fast, but have really good all-around stats. So for me, we're going to go with Sissoko and Wijnaldum, 2 CDMs, right? I don't think Wijnaldum will be too expensive. He kind of has like a Frankie de Jong card last year, which, I mean, Frankie de Jong was still expensive, but he was the ones to watch. Sissoko, right? Solid. He's just going to be my destroyer. Gareth Bale, probably ones to watch. He'll be my striker. Martial will be my right attacking mid, and Dembele will be my left attacking mid. The defense is self-explanatory. A lot of people might say, well, get Diego Carlos, blah, blah, blah. Militao's the GOAT, man. We all know how good Eder Militao is. He's just going to continue to be that good. He's got all the good, important stats. You slap a shadow on him, and you're golden. The only question for me is Nick Pope, right? Like, I don't need Nick Pope. I could probably get an Allison or get a Courtois or a Neto or somebody, that would fill that slot. But I just put him there to give Cam to Joe Gomez. And then João Cancelo, man. I think there's a lot of good options for right back in the Premier League this year. But I think Cancelo might go on a little bit under the radar just because you got guys like Nelson Semedo coming over. You got a Wan-Bissaka card that's very, very good. But we'll see, right? The reason I pick a team like this that's like, well, you know, I could afford something better, but we are going to be opening some FIFA points, so it makes sense to have some players in here that, you know, that could be substituted by cards that we pack, for instance, right? Say you pack a Nelson Semedo or a Wan-Bissaka and bang, you got your right back, right? Say you pack Marcelo, right? Of course, he's not as good, but still, he slots right in there and bang, right? Now, the cards that I'm definitely going to try and get are going to be my Martials, my Dembeles, and my Bales. But anyway, you know, after looking at a team like this, and I'm talking about, you know, 600-700K, like, well, how are you going to get that? Well, for me, we do have a trading guide on my Discord that I made with my buddy Mexi Muscles, Eddie, and our Discord. We're really going to try and help you guys kind of just learn how to trade, just what like we do. I don't like to overcomplicate stuff, man. There's so many people on this website and everything that just kind of overcomplicate the logic and the vocab behind trading. It's really fucking straightforward. I shouldn't have cussed, but it's okay. It's really straightforward. It's not very difficult, and if you guys just use your head, it's really easy to do. So one thing that I wanted to kind of touch base on with you guys is real quick, right? If we look at FIFA 20 Kylian Mbappe, in terms of getting a squad like this, right? You got to look at these cards. And you see on the web app, right, or whenever Mbappe's price first gets logged, he's around 600K, right? And that's give or take a few coins. So he's 600K right here. And then, you know, he slowly starts creeping up 700, 800K when the game starts, you know, more and more people are opening packs and have more coins. And then by the first week the game is released, man, he hits 1.2 mil. So Kylian Mbappe doubles in price. He doubles in price, right? Same thing happens with Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, the same thing happens with him where he's around 200K and then he shoots up to 400 or 500K when the game is fully released. So it's really important to get these high tier cards early on, as early as possible, if you're going for high tier cards like this, right? So we look at De Bruyne, right? If I can just, there we go, 215 at the earliest, and then slowly starts creeping up, shoots up, you know, hits 360, and then bang, hits 430. So it's really important to get these cards early, just so that way you can kind of have them in your team. And if you don't like them and you want to sell them, you make double your coins. But that's only for specific cards, right? Not every card is going to double in price. So I guess the first thing I should talk about realistically is what we're going to be doing on Wednesday, right? On the release day of the web app. So for me, in the past, man, my best example to give to you guys is a player like Fred. So if we look at Fred from FIFA 19, and you guys might remember this, but Fred was so hyped, man. Everyone wanted this card. He had the ones to watch, and everyone was super excited to get Fred in their team because he's a very well-rounded card. So if we go down to Fred's footbin graph, he was 7K when the game came out, right? He was 11K. But you could snipe Fred on the web app day one for 7K, right? And you could sell him for 9K to 10K. So you're making 1.5 to 2 million coins, or 2,000 coins after tax per card. And then people started seeing that, and Fred rises to 11K and then to 14K. But anyway, I was able to trade with Fred until I got to around 40, 50K. And then what happened, right? Then he shoots up. Now the game's released, right? And now he shoots up, and now he's 40K. So that's another card that, you know, it's just an example that cards that you may want for your team, the meta cards, right? The really hyped up cards, will move a lot. But see this, they just absolutely die. With ones to watch packs, they absolutely die. So that's something to be really careful about. You don't want to buy a card like Fred unless you're going to use him for a long time. You don't want to waste all your coins on him. Because the same thing, look at Riyad Mahrez. And Mahrez is an example I'll give you guys for my early access moves. And I might try to copy this with a card like Gareth Bale maybe, or a card like Diego Jota. Well, Diego Jota won't move as much. But Mahrez will be a really good one to use this year too, in terms of how you can trade with him. For instance, if we look at FIFA 19, Riyad Mahrez is basically the same card, right? And he did get ones to watch this year, so he was out of packs. So what I did was, once I got about 40, 50K, I bought a bunch of Mahrez. I sniped a bunch of Mahrez for like 20 to 22K, right? Because I knew he was going to be out of packs. But the thing with Mahrez, and the thing with a lot of these guys that are going out of packs, is they do tend to get overinvested in. So for instance, I bought it around 22K. I remember because I was looking at screenshots the other day, and I sold him. I didn't sell him for 55, right? Because that's when you're greedy. But I sold my Mahrez that I was buying for, on average, say 21K. I was selling him for like 40 to 45K, right? That's double, and I bought 5 of those cards. So realistically, I made 100K on 5 Mahrez, which it's easier said than done, right? It sounds good in your head, but when you're seeing these cards move and you're seeing people talk about these cards, you start to get a little nervous. So that is why I did sell, right? I did sell. I could have taken more money, but I sold. I could have got an extra 10, 15K, but I didn't, because in early access and on EA Play and on the web app, it's so important to take your coins rather than sit there and be like, okay, I need to get X amount of coins for this card, right? Because when you start being greedy, that's when you hold too long, and that's when everybody else is buying these cards to flip because they don't know what they're doing. They're buying them at inflated prices, and then they skyrocket down. So it's important to take your coins when you have them and not get, too cocky and too confident, and not get, profit at all. So for me, right, cards that I'm going to be really interested in flipping for this year's web app are going to be my Freds, right? My Davinson Sanchez's, and my CSL players, right? I've talked about this. How do you spell his name, man? Davinson Sanchez. Anyway, you guys get the point. Oh, wrong guy. But anyway, okay, whatever. So anyway, Fred, and then if you look, right, one player that I really wanted to talk to you guys about, or one league I should say that I really wanted to talk to you guys about, was the CSL. Especially cards like Teixeira and Paulinho and Talisca that are in everyone's starter squad. You see them all over Twitch, all over Twitter, everywhere, right? So for me, what I'm going to be doing on the web app is once I get to like 20, 30, 40K, that's when I'm going to start saying, okay, I'm going to try and buy a couple of Paulinhos, Taliscas, Ronaldo Augustos, like these more higher rated meta CSL cards. Because everybody, when they get the game on, the 6th or whatever, or even on the 1st and they're ripping FIFA points, they're going to try and buy these players. And these players will have a natural increase in price just because they're so hyped. They're not going to fly. They're not going to, go 15, 20, 30K, but they are going to be high enough where you will make a profit if you buy them early enough, right? But like I said, these are going to be cards that are going to be very, very overinvested, so it's important to take your coins when you have them. And then another thing that we can talk about for me, for instance, right, is I am going to be spending FIFA points in the beginning of the year. I play college baseball, so I really need that head start with practices and stuff. But also for me, right, FIFA is my hobby, right? I stream, I play FIFA. Now I'm making YouTube videos. But realistically, for me to spend a couple, some money on FIFA in the beginning of the game to get me a head start, or for the time that I'm going to be missing, it doesn't really bother me. Just like when people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna spend FIFA points," and some people get so pissed off, man. It's like, who cares? Don't tell people how to play the game. But for me, right, I make these little templates on Footbin. I make a couple. I have a Premier League one, I have a Bundesliga one, and I think I have a Serie A one too. Yeah. So what I do, right, this is actually a starter squad. But so for what I do, right, with my Premier League players, and I also have I'll show those later. I also make spreadsheets with little, like, basically you just type in players' names, you type in the price, and it calculates the profit and loss. But it's just little simple things that kind of help you know visually what you're buying and for what. So I make these Footbin squads, right? And these are all of the meta Premier League players that I plan on flipping when I have like 100K, 50K to 100K. Because you have your lower tier cards, right, that are going to be, less than 5K, a little bit more than 15K, 100K. Who knows what he's going to be, right? 40, 50K. And then you got your cards down here that are a little bit more expensive. But I just have this list, and then you can keep refreshing this to see the price on Footbin. So this is another super, super easy thing that you can do with players that you want to look at and monitor to help you just kind of know the market trend and see, how these players are moving. Because this will populate with a graph, right? So you'll be able to see the last 30 days, and then you can obviously also see their prices underneath, so you can monitor how they're moving throughout the week. Another thing, right? If you are a FIFA point guy and you do have a lot of coins that you can burn through, like I said, man, the higher tier cards like De Bruyne and Neymar and Mbappe and those cards, like if you have a couple 100K that you can spend, you might as well pick up a card like that if you're not going to use them and then try and flip. But once you get to 500K plus, that's when you can start having fun and flipping icons and flipping team of the week specials, because we are going to have a very, very good team of the week. And that actually brings up a perfect segment into the Team of the Week prediction from Footbin. I love the Footbin predictions. I think those are the best. To me, they're the most accurate. But if we look at this week's Team of the Week 1, I guess I should say this year's Team of the Week 1, there's some really, really, really meta cards, and it's going to throw off like weekly trends for a lot of gold cards too. Because we'll have Jamie Vardy, we'll have the Rat, Ben Yedder, Suarez. Guys like this, right? Vardy and Yedder, and even Alejandro Gomez, and even Ruben Jesus Navas if he gets in, right? These cards are super, super meta and are super, super wanted, right? They have a very high demand. So them being in Team of the Week basically means that cards that compete with them in their position that are gold are going to have more value and are going to be higher, more expensive. So, for instance, for Ben Yedder, right, your Martials might be a little bit more expensive. Hell, your Mbappe's might be more expensive because people are going to be paying for that Ben Yedder. But Ben Yedder will probably be a dinosaur, right? He'll be so extinct that you won't be able to find the inform, or you will be able to find the inform for a very, very high price, but you won't be able to find the gold for at least a week. So we look at a card like Jamie Vardy, who could win Player of the Month, but then we also have guys in here, you know, today, for instance, Trent Alexander-Arnold was man of the match. He might get in. Tyrone Mings was man of the match of the earlier game. He could get in. So there's cards that are going to be very, very, have very high demands, but cards like that could also really throw off weekly trends, especially on like a card like Ansu Fati, man, right? He is going to have, he'll be a competitor, realistically, in my opinion, right? He'll be a competitor to Ousmane Dembele. But, you know, that's one thing that we'll see, I guess, on Wednesday, and we'll be excited to see. But another thing, going back into the trends category for me, right, as we talk about, you know, all these weekly trends and yearly trends and monthly trends, right, we'll talk about promos coming up, and what I'm most excited for is Icon SBCs. And a lot of people, there's a lot of conflicting opinions on Icon SBCs, man, and I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. You have all these people saying, oh, well, they're going to overprice Icon SBCs. Bro, if I don't have to tell you guys this, right? I shouldn't have to tell you guys this anyway. This guy is extinct. Prime, and granted, I know the game is dead in 4 days. But look at this graph, man. He's 15 mil. He's extinct 15 mil, 14 mil, 14 mil. He takes a little bit of a drop to 8 mil when the moments comes out, right? Comes back up, comes back up, comes back up. The guy is consistently 10 mil plus. How are you going to make an SBC? And this is just the prime. This isn't the moments. But I commend EA if they make an SBC that costs 10 mil. I commend them. Because the amount of time that would take, and the amount of algorithms and little arithmetic shit that they'll have to do to make an SBC cost that much, I tip my cap. If you make I tip my cap. If you make an SBC that costs that much, that many coins, bro, GG's, you're evil. But that's not gonna happen. Because the thing is, with an Icon SBC like this, and they say Icon SBCs are only available for 45 days, bro, if I have the opportunity to get a Prime Moments R9 and Prime Moments Hull at my team, I will grind my balls off to get those cards. Because you know what? Realistically, I don't know anybody besides the top tier traders or FIFA point spenders that will have more than 30 mil liquid at one time, right? That's just unheard of. Run the Full Market will do it. Felipe, YL, guys like that will do it. Chatty will do it. But for me, man, I'm realistic with myself. Could I get there 100%? Will I? Absolutely not. Give me Icon SBCs. I'm very thankful they're back, but it all depends on how they implement it, right? Because they're also going to implement this really cool thing with the flashback eras, right? So we'll finally, right, we'll be able to get another Arjen Robben, sorry. People say I pronounce his name wrong. But a card like this, man, right? A card like this. Oh, I cannot wait for a card like this. Just like Ribéry, right? We'll get our yearly Zlatan flashback too, right? But our Ribéry's, man, you know, these cards are so fun to use, and I'm so excited for that. But I'm also hoping they do something a little bit different, which I'm very optimistic about this. It's not going to happen, but it's something that I would be very, very, very happy for with the flashback eras, right? They're going to adjust cards based on how they performed back in the day. So if we look at one of my all-time favorite FIFA cards, man, which is Gold Neymar from FIFA 14. He was a center forward though, so this is wrong. But how sick would it be, man, if they like made like a Neymar, a 5-star Neymar, 84, 85 rated, even like 87 rated, from back in the time when he was at Santos or when he played for Brazil in the Olympics and the World Cup or Barcelona, right? Where he's just a little bit lower rated when he was younger, but it just made like it just allowed you to use, you know, kind of a flashback Neymar, if you will, right? Or a Paul Pogba, you know, flash it back to when Paul Pogba was in Team of the Year, something like that. I think EA's really given themselves a lot of really cool, you know, avenues to go down. But like I said, man, this year really ruined it for me in terms of optimism. Like I've said on my Twitch stream a million times over, I'm super excited for FIFA, but the game comes out, the web app comes out in 2 days, man, and I'm still not hyped. You know what I mean? I'm very excited. I'm excited to have a new game to grind towards. I'm excited for, you know, everything that comes with FIFA. I'm excited for the grind, enjoying the grind, doing all that kind of stuff. But realistically, man, until we play the game and until we see what they're gonna do with, you know, the community objectives and all that stuff that they've brought out with, in terms of the flashback eras, the icon of species, the icon swaps, the new international tournament, EAFC, whatever it's called, the pro scene tournaments, right? Giving us tokens for that. Like, they're bringing out a lot of cool stuff. But until we play the game, until we see how they implement it, how they price stuff, it doesn't mean anything, right? Your word is only as good as everything you've shown in the past. And to be honest, yeah, you haven't really shown much in terms of, you know, making us happy. So with that being said, man, I am excited. I'm excited for the game. I'm excited for all the new stuff that we're gonna get. I'm excited for the YouTube journey. I'm excited for the Twitch journey. You know, growing my socials, all that stuff. I'm excited, man. We've seen a lot of really great growth this past 6 months, really, over lockdown. So I'm hoping that I can ride that wave and continue giving you guys, you know, decent content. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for me for the first video. Like I said, it's gonna be terrible. I apologize. It's probably gonna be like 20 minutes of me just blabbing at you. But yeah, we're gonna get better at condensing stuff, editing stuff, talking in front of the camera, all that stuff. Because it's easy when you're reading a Twitch chat and you're shooting the shit with your buddies and all that. But YouTube's a different animal. But I'm excited, man. So we'll wrap this video up by saying that, you know, we're excited. I don't know what else to say. But anyway, if you would be so kind as to sub, drop a like, comment, all that fun stuff. Comment down below what you want to see in this channel. Do you want to see like me playing Weekend League, raging, that kind of stuff? Do you want to see me opening packs, trading, market stuff? You know, that I'm trying to be unique, man. I don't want to just, you know, sit there and copy and paste, you know, the Foot Accountant or Run the Foot Market or my boys. I don't want to sit there and be like, what are they doing? But anyway, yeah, I'm interested to hear your feedback. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, GG. Make sure you hit me up on Twitch, twitch.tv/mjkfoot, twitter.com/mjkfoot, YouTube mjkfoot, and, you know, wherever else you want to follow me. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. But until then, man, catch you guys later.